fuck it. We start. It's day 6. I want to start here. I want to watch something. This is great.
Oh, anything.
You know what? I really like carrots. You ever had carrot on a stick before?
Not really.
That's my favorite cuisine.
We actually put the money in a crate.
Fucking missing scammers down here. They're actually using a very great framework. They're using Python. I'm very much sure because they're using AI, reading things on your face and stuff, the detection and stuff. So I do think that they use Python. This is nice. This is entertaining. I really love scammer stuff. And it's very interesting.
And we shipped it to you. Yeah, it's called Trackage. So go ahead and trackage your package.
It looks like where they might have left something or no.
There's nothing here. Can't you see? I've checked.
My plan is simple. I try to get this guy to go to a nearby beach. I kind of spin up this story about how the package has been moved. He jumps in his car and they start driving. I lead him slowly but surely to a nearby police station.
But you're looking for a blue building.
The only blue building is like the police department.
So what you need to do is you're going to need to walk into the building. I don't know if you want to write this down. You're going to want to speak with an officer, and you're going to want to tell them that you're impersonating a federal agent in the U.S. and that you've been scamming people trying to get their money.
Okay, hang on. We're gonna ask my cousin. Hang on.
This is a scammer who spent the past few days searching for a package that doesn't exist. He believes that I mailed him thousands of dollars worth of Bitcoin on a USB drive to a nearby location, but the tracking is fake.
It looks like your package has been delivered. On your dashboard, there should be an area where you can look at the shipping information.
They'd even give us GPS access to their phones so we could watch them in real time as they navigated around their local area looking for non-existent care packages.
And if it asks you to give permission for geolocation, you have to say yes.
Yeah, I've clicked it.
Why don't we head over there right now and I can help guide you. How long have you been trying to collect these funds?
Up to 6 to 7 months now. Or even a year.
Wow, that's a long time. Real shame. Well, I'm glad that we're almost I'm glad we're almost there. We're nearing the home stretch. Like we're really close to you getting your money.
Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna have to turn back. So basically, go the exact opposite way that you're going.
I'm trying to know the road. I'm on the mirror now, but I'm trying to know.
Yeah, don't go. No, go the other way. You're going the wrong way. You're going the wrong way.
Okay.
Yeah, the other side. You want to be going the exact opposite way. There we go. Great job.
I'm watching the little red dot move. We can update the location of the package whenever we want. And in some cases, we had the scammer wandering around for hours, desperately trying to find a package that doesn't exist. We sent them to zoos,
Fucked up.
water parks, beaches, local police departments. We were trying to stress test just how far they would go because we have a few ideas of where we can send them next. But that's for another video.
I guess I'm around there.
Oh my
Yeah, you're
god.
getting close.
It says I've arrived. I should click to call the security and the support.
Yep, it'll update. It'll update in just a minute. It'll update in just a minute for you. I think just keep walking down. Just keep walking down the road. Keep walking.
It seems the location is changing.
Yeah, I think it's update.
Shifted.
It looks like it's updating as you get. Whenever you get get nearby, it's updating a more precise location. It's guiding you exactly where you need to go. And I don't know if there's anything nearby. Maybe you want to pick up like snacks or watch out.
No, I'm okay. If it's a human, why is this so hard for us to link up? I mean,
What do you mean? No, it's not. It's not a. Well, a human delivered it, but we want to make sure it's safe and only you access it. You know what I mean?
All right.
You're actually. I think you're really close. It actually says that you're boiling a lava hot.
This way?
Yes, I believe so.
This way is a bush. Look at it.
It says the video is paused.
Okay,
That
what is a bush?
that is a giant bush.
Whoa.
The system has not calculated the bush.
Late at night. What the
Interesting. Are you? Can you head back to the road?
As of right now, scammers have spent 165 days, 19 hours, 31 minutes, and 27 seconds trying to steal our fake Bitcoin instead of trying to steal from someone else. And I am so proud of that. I'm incredibly thankful for my team who's helped me build the maze and continues to update this maze, send scammers into it. This project has been such a joy to work on. And if you want to wear a piece of this project and support the project, we actually have a bunch of really proud of.
Wow, that is a dream right there.
Thing on our
We waste scammers' time using fucking. Oh my god, that's awesome. That's fucking awesome. No. We're gonna move on. Kind of sick. It's day 6. Yeah. Okay. Oh this is the rock paper scissors game. Yesterday, yep. Yeah. This one's by ChatGPT. What we did last time. Yesterday, I mean. So I'll be basic. We did lists. As far as I remember, just lists. And is yesterday fucking end and or net fucking net ifs or something. Then end and ors. I think last week too, and then we move on to lists. That's about it. I remember lists basically. So basically, lists are just like these, and like you'd use these ones. I think these ones. So you got one, string them, 5, 6, and then you appendices. And then one. Fuck, what is happening? What? Am I missing? I don't know. It's good, but let's just get back, okay? Workshop Python. Episode 9.
This is a Python
The Python list. There we go.
list, and they are Run. Did you just see that? That equal. Watch this. Come over item. Go. Unpause. Press. First data, Crystal Lake is a string. Cool, we got that. Comma, space. Space is optional, but it's best practice. Do a space just because it looks prettier. We're all about pretty. I'm in a Boolean. I don't know why I say it. Killer. You saw that coming. And you're coming. Just happened. You're bringing. I know it. What am I doing? Watch. I'm going
Yeah, it should be like that. Though.
to print me. Let's run. Run. Did you?
No, let's just do something. Yeah. So say numbers equals lists.
What? I'm going to print me. The variable me. Let's run it. Run.
Wait.
We're gonna spell being craziness. Need a coffee break. Idiot over here.
Let's try something. Let's print list first. Oh, whatever. Numbers. What the fuck is happening? I don't understand. Damn it. Okay. We can do something better. Four. Shouldn't it run? I don't think so, yeah.
And I will go into why, but first, let's get a really nerdy definition on what a Python list. Because I don't want to lie to you, I gotta prove to you that this is a data structure called list. Let's go ahead and run the code. Run! And there it is, suckers. And this is gonna open up so many doors to Python coding. We're gonna spend a lot of time, like, actually, the junk is going on. It's real quick. Let's bask in the awesomeness of string here. And so we'll get more than just
Am I dumb?
string data. Underscore, first one, ballers. Make, like, bait, just like hype. Have, and they can hold doesn't killer. And you're coming, right? Data, me. Do some. Watch. I'm going to.
I'm dumb as shit. You know, actually, where's the word list? Okay, what the fuck? Oh wait. Oh my god, I'm using the wrong ones. Oh my god. What? Numbers. Oh, they're not strings. No, no, I don't like that. I don't like that. Oh my god. Can't do the whole thing now. 3. God damn it. Should work. Yes. Fuck. What is everything? I don't know what the hell's happening.
The variable me.
Damn it! Hindi naman karal, tapos sinisipo ka pa. Focus on. Shit. Okay. Let's back down for a minute. Wait lang. Fucking fly. Garbage. Oh I haven't even initiated timer. My bad, my bad. Oh, I'm all over the place right now, I'm sorry. There we go. So we don't do it like that. Okay. Numbers. Order. Skimming order. Numbers. Print. Order. God damn it. What am I missing? What am I missing? What is happening? I don't understand. Oh my god. Ano ba? Ow. There we fucking go. So simula 0, 1, 2, 3. So 3 pa lang yan. So yung 2 ito. Fair enough. Okay.
Let's run it. Run. Did you just see that? Last in our list. be 0, then 1. Yeah. We'll bring in marshmallows. But
So again, same lang din naman. Yan ay negative 1. Baliktad. 3 pa rin. Oh. My bad. 4 pala ako.
I'm gonna change the dang saying. You're probably thinking, oh, sometimes yeah. The only difference is that it uses single quotes instead of double quotes. It breaks our standard. It's okay. We'll forgive it. No, I told you, didn't I? I wasn't. It's
Yeah, that's what it was. It's not adding stuff. I don't get this. But let's go.
Do you know what's more fun? Or actually try it, check it out, link below. Our gorgeous Python script. Python list full of the time, and apparently you do too. Thanks a lot. I'm just kidding, by the way. Don't get scared or upset. I'm sorry. Anyways, here we go. So our task of the day is to add toilet paper and a bidet.
Somewhat similar.
List up there, so stop talking.
Python is somewhat similar to a function, except it is associated with object.
Add toilet paper and a bidet to our list. Let's do it. It's really cool actually. And this is actually a groundbreaking concept you're going to use a ton in Python, not just lists. So as you learn this, you're kind of getting a head start to everything else, which is pretty cool. Anyways, here we go. So down here, type this with me. Our list up there, supplies. Go ahead and type it out. Supplies. Here comes the method. I'm going to do a dot, and then type in a pen. Notice, ooh, pretty different color. When colors change in Python, we know something's happening. Something's cooking and brewing, and that's what's happening here. So, just after a pen, I'm going to do a parenthesis. And inside those parentheses, I'm going to add our toilet paper. Let's go and just test this.
Isa lang sa append. Ano, maalala ko.
One magic just happened. Our list.
And sa ending siya laging mag-add. Kunyari, 5. Ewan ko ba't mag-error yung ano ngayon. 4. What? Ah, yun, upprint pala. Sorry. Oh, diba? I don't get that. Hindi ko alam paano maayos yun. Ayoko pa rin yun. Sorry. I don't know. What? Ah, hindi. Kailangan pala siya i-print.
And let's
Sorry.
run our code. Run. Look at that. Okay. Flies. Once more. Just
Ay, nga ako mag-print. What the fuck? Ay, hindi. May string pa. Man. There you go.
like this, and let's run our code. Run. Look at that! Okay, so some magic just happened. Our list now at the very end has toilet paper around here. This thing, please see where, sir, you usually carry supplies. Bidet. Let's run the code. For now, okay, what do you thought? You didn't want to pay. Honestly, yeah, it's kind of annoying. So is there a way handy? So let me back this up really. There we go. And then of course our print a list. Rush. So you know our task. Pause. I'm gonna create and get data. My bidets. Then a string. I'm just now let's run our code. Run. That did it. Yes. So with our
So extend, ganun din. Extend. This time, gamit ka nito. This way. Ah. 6. There you go. Oh, my bad. There you go, 5, 6.
extend method, we extended use supplies. plus, and if we run our code, it should be the exact same thing. Fingers crossed. Totally is. Awesome. What's happening here? First, notice that we're not really using a method anymore. We're simply using a plus sign, addition. Things we've already covered in this course when we try to add two
Pwede naman yan, pero mas prefer na extend. Pero pwede naman. Mas simple nga ito is mag-extend
strings to
natin.
each other or two integers. And here we're adding two lists plus and when you want for append method. So the list name dot append list. What list? To a list. But wait, there's more. We're in the bidet, so I want the applies. What's half argument or data? Which we already know that. But this first thing, that is actually something we've already talked about. You may recall that you trying to insert or in there. I'll flip it. Video. Okay.
What you could do is, instead na yan, gawin natin siyang numbers. Ano ginagawa niya? Gawin sa may this one. Plus you need wait, hold up, nawala yung idea ko. No. Let's try out this one first. Oh no, kailangan ko ng ano. Nahihirapan ako nabili to. Hindi alam. Hindi, tama naman pala. Okay.
Was the extend.
So, kailangan ko mag-extend. Ay, insert. Never is a zero. Same lang. Pero kung kunyari gusto ko as mag-ano kasi ito eh. Numbers to numbers, numbers to numbers. So ito siya ngayon. Then is the next line of code. So ito lang kasi yan eh. Diretso lang sila. So let's say gusto kong i-add yung 6 sa pang 6 version na. So kailangan mo lang 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 7 na mag-add. 7. 6. There you go. 6.
Up on that. You may recall that when you're trying to do the second to try it out. Now my position, if I want it to be second from last, will be out.
Yeah, so add yun 6 sa before. So Add mo. Negative 1. 6 again. Ayan. Oh, my bad. So negative 1, negative 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Negative 7 pala siya. My bad. Walang ano. There you go.
The insert methods. But you need
Hindi ko magamit para saan ko gagamitin yun. Wala akong alam. Hindi ko alam para saan gagamitin to. Basta yung ChatGPT. Alam ko more of a storage lang siya. Sabihin natin yung ginawa kong um, where's that? Coffee shop. Pwede ko atang i-store yung iba-iba kaso hindi ko alam kaya pa siya bigyan ng value, but I think we can. So let's say naka-store yung value doon. Ito nakalagay na rin yung ano. So yung boolean niya rin. Doon na rin yung pwede na siya mag-store ng ayan, text. Working theory pa lang naman yan. Hindi ko pa sure, but I think ganun siya.
pretty different color. Many great things about Python languages. And apparently, now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, Chuck, forgot. Know what you're thinking. You're
This may merong boolean, merong string, may float, may integers. I think that's working theory. Bigyan natin sa kanya to. Okay. Nasaan? Okay, ito gusto ko to. Sige, tayo natin yan. But okay. So hindi ko na babalikan yung code. So basically fix na yung code na yun. So hindi ko na i-rewrite yung buo. So mag-add na lang ako for later. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Yan wala, mas mahirap balikan yung ano, but sure. Ay, hindi ko alam yung in. In menu. Naka-ellipse na lang sila, parang ginawa if lang, ay naka-ellipse pala ako. Yeah, makes sense. Basically, inad mo lang naman to. Yes, basically yun lang naman din. Okay, I get that. Paano yan yung respond ba yan? Simple shopping cart example. Paano to? Well, item. Hindi ko alam ang while true. Wala pa ako sa loops pero sige. Try nga natin siya run. Ano itsura niya? Okay. Okay. What would you like to add your cart? Apple. Banana. Oop, nasira yung code. Medyo ano, hapit siya natin. Would you like to add to your cart? Ooh! Ano, tawag dito, grocery. Oh shit, gusto ko gawin to. Gusto ko na sarili ko more improved version. Hindi yung more improved pero yung nagamit ko. Hindi ko pa marami gumamit ng booleans. Hanapin ko ba yun? Is interesting. Yes, yes. While true, hindi ko pa alam paano gamit ng while or true booleans of true or false. Yun hindi ko pa alam. Pero this is interesting. Parang kung ako ng cashier, basically. Yeah, that makes sense a lot. Yeah. Kaso hindi ka lang makapag-add. Nyari gusto pa mag-add ng item, hindi ko makapag-add. So I think kailangan mo siya sabay-sabayin. Hindi niya pwede. Okay. Whoa. Whoa. I like this. I like this. Ito yung notepad. Hindi kita yung notepad eh. It's interesting, basically. So, itong gawin in the future. Sige, nai-gets ko na yung function niya. Nai-gets ko na kung paano siya ginagamit. So, para saan siya ginagamit. So, next tayo.
I've been using Grammarly for 3 years,
Tapusin natin to lahat din new tutorial naman.
and I can't imagine my work life without it. Grammarly is an AI writing partner, and unlike
Warning, we're about to use Blab, like not. Seriously, in this video, learn how to obliterate, destroy that you have right here in your browser. Check this out. Here in the hands-on subnet, suck less at Python, you can become awesome at subnetting, but pretty cool. So you got, and when I say we, I mean you, toilet paper, and for me, a bidet. But thankfully, we were able to add those supplies with some methods. But we got a bit overzealous. We packed too much. You see, I'm taking my Tesla because it's a Tesla, and we can't fit everything inside. So now we have to remove things from our list. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Well, Chuck, removing things from a list is pretty easy. Just go in here and start deleting. No, you ain't gonna do that. That's lazy. We're gonna do it programmatically with Python and skills, okay? Okay? Sorry, I feel like very aggressive in this video. Must be all the coffee. It's okay. It is one of the side effects. So here's our task. We have to remove some non-essential items from our list. Now we could remove the Raspberry Pi or Ethernet cable, but no, too essential. So we can take away our tent and sleeping bags. Yes, that's what we'll do. So remove tent and sleeping bags from our list with Python. Now just like we used a method to add stuff to our list, we'll also use a method to remove things from our list. So let's try this out. The code we have right here, go ahead and run it, make sure it works. Cool. All our supplies are right here in the console. Now just after we added toilet paper and bidet, let's go ahead and do this. Type this with me. Supplies, our supplies list. And then do dot clear, the method clear, and then parentheses. Oh, not 9, parentheses. Easy enough, right? Let's run the code. What did you do? The data, it's not there, it's gone. I told you just to delete 2 things and now the whole thing's gone. It's okay. I know it was a bit nuclear, but I wanted to show you this one first. It's just more fun.
Saan nalabas yan? Wait lang. Kasi meron dito eh. Input. Diff. break. Break. Anong yung break? Anong kung yun? Leave choice in store items. Append choice. Nag-add ka. So basically gumawa siyang list. List 1, list 2. List 1 yung storage. List 2 yung mga gusto mong i-add. So basically nag-build ka ng list. Okay, makes sense. Ano to? Print C. Ano to? C. For C in cart. Anong value yung C? Cart. Ano yun? Your shopping cart. Yeah. Ay, C. Anong kwento na yun eh? Hindi ko alam yung for while true break. Wala pa ako dyan. Sure, let's go.
Fine. So if you want to take out your entire list, just for some reason, you can use the clear option, the clear method, and it will do the job. So clear is nuclear. And notice up here, it actually printed a list with nothing inside, which actually brings up a really cool point. You can have empty lists, which seems pointless, right? But no, but it does come in handy when you're programmatically adding things to a list, but you don't have anything for that list to have in it yet. That was a really awkward way of saying that. But essentially what you might end up doing is defining a list like this, and that sucker's empty. And then later on in your script, when you're doing something really cool, which we will do later. I can't show you yet. But you'll start adding stuff to your list using those methods we talked about. So yes, lists can be empty. Little fun fact for you. So anyways, clear is cool, but we may not want to eliminate.
Ano ba siya ng list dito? Ito nga, cart. Cart empty. Tapos append. Tapos add from dito store items. Okay?
Everything. So let's take that out. A bit overzealous today, aren't we? So now let's try the most intuitive method out there. If you want to remove something from your list, you might want to use the remove method. That's what we're going to do. Remove. So dot remove. The color changes.
Nilagay niya kanina.
So now let's is
Clear.
parentheses, and then here, how do we specify what piece of data to remove? We just simply call out that value. So for example, we're moving our tent and sleeping bags. So let's try tent. That's it. Click run. It's gone. No tent here. Now one key thing to note with the remove method is that when we want to remove something, we specify the actual value, the actual name of the data. And obviously it has to be correct, because if we put instead but tents, we're going to get an error, because the tents aren't there. It's just tent. So real quick, why don't you try and remove sleeping bags? Go ahead and add that code for us so I don't have to do it. Pause the video. Unpause. Okay, coffee break. Here's how I would do it. We'll do another remove method here. Supplies.remove. The same story as earlier. Parentheses, specify our data, which will be sleeping bags, just how it looks up there. And if we run our code, bam, tent and sleeping bags are gone. Hey, you know, we kind of just already did it. Our Tesla is lighter, we can get there, it's fine. Now notice this. We can only remove one piece of data with our remove method, which is important to remember because you may have tried this. You may have tried to go, hey, if I can just put a comma there and put in tent, it might work, but it won't. You'll get an error. Watch. Error. Now, how to remove multiple items from a list is not the simplest thing to do, and it'll be a concept we cover later on in this course. Now, you probably assumed this by now, but there's more than one way to remove an item from a list. Yeah, we have a remove method, and he's pretty great. And instead of using the value to remove stuff, we'll use the index, which is very handy, and, you know, this new method also has a cool feature that you probably don't care about, but you'll care about it when I show you. Okay, let me just show it to you, okay? So let's remove our remove methods real quick. Just take them all out. Obliterate. Same story as before. Let's type our supplies list dot, and then here comes the fun one. Type in pop, 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 pop. That's what it is. That's the method. It's called pop. It's kind of a fun one, right? And then parentheses. And now I mentioned, yes, we're going to use an index to remove our data instead of the value. So I want you to do this by yourself. Knowing how indexes work and how pop probably works, try and remove our tent and sleeping bags from the list. Pause the video, go. Unpause, coffee break. With my first pop method statement here, whatever.
Ano lang yan? 0, tsaka 1.
I'm gonna remove tent. And I know the index of tent is going to be 0.
Yes.
Cool. That should do it. Actually, let's run the code and make sure it works. Tent is gone. Awesome. I'm gonna do the same thing down here. Supplies. Dot pop. And I'll remove, and actually, this is kind of interesting because I didn't realize this as I was doing it. I'm gonna do 0 here. What? Watch. I bet it's gonna work.
May
Run.
0 yung
Totally worked. So tent and sleeping bags are gone, but why did you use 0 twice? Well, because when I removed pop, the index changed, right? That required a bit of critical thinking, didn't it? It was kind of fun. That was like a puzzle. So the first pop method, we removed tent. So the 0 index, tent, obliterated. Now, after that happened, sleeping bags was in the 0 index. And we're like, okay, now we want to take out sleeping bags. It's not going to be 1 like you might have thought. It's going to be 0. So that's kind of fun. It's kind of a little fun puzzle. If you got that right, let me know. And also keep in mind how your indexes will change if you use multiple indexes. Hold up. From our
Okay, continue.
0 index, tent, obliterated. Now, after that happened, sleeping bags was in the 0 index. And we're like, okay, now we want to take out sleeping bags. It's not going to be 1 like you might have thought. It's going to be 0. So that's kind of fun. It's kind of a little fun puzzle. If you got that right, let me know. And also keep in mind how your indexes will change if you use multiple indexes. Indices. How do you say that? I don't know. Now, pop is pretty cool because of the way it removes stuff by indexes, but it does something else cool. It has a little hidden feature. When you remove something with pop, it not only just, takes it out, it will also return that same data. What does that mean? Let's try it out. Let's just demonstrate that sucker. What we're gonna do real quick is actually just surround that supplies.pop0 with a print statement. Let's do that. So we'll print, open parenthesis, and then closing parenthesis over here at the end. So now we're gonna print the return of this program here, this little script. Let's try it out. Run. Did you see that? Look at that. Up here, before we printed the entire list, it just printed tent. Because the pop method will return that data that we're deleting, which is kind of cool. It's like a combo move. Bam, delete. Bam, let me show you what I just deleted. 1-2 punch. I love it. Now you might be thinking, well, what's the point of that? That seems pointless. Well, you might want to just have a confirmation of something you delete, right? That's handy. So for example, I might do this. I'll print this item was just deleted. And then I'll add that string I just made to the return of that pop method. So now if I run the code, run, I get this nice little output about something I just did. This item was just deleted. It was tent. And it was also just deleted. Like, that's cool. 1-2 punch. Take yourself a quick coffee break because you just obliterated. It's like a lip.
I was definitely gonna use this. It's like pop. You could definitely add pop here if gusto mo niya remove. I don't think wala nga to remove function eh. Wala to remove function, so once na diretso lang. Pwede mo to lagyan ng remove function yung pop. Around dito, I think. Pero ayaw ko paano mag-work yun since wala ka namang fix na list. Ang maging ending predictions lang to, ha? Try lang. bago mag ano to. Ay, hindi. Wag yung pop. Wag yung pop. Yung una. Remove.
And obviously, specify we can only remove one piece of.
Paano ko gagawing input yan? Kasi ginawa niya dito input eh. Ako naisip ko lagi print eh. Input slash what do you want to delete? Slash if. Ang hilig ko sa if tsaka else. Ang daling delete niya kasi gamitin siya sa
Data.
WhatsApp
Here,
lang.
watch.
Paano ma-apply yan? Kunyari gusto ko magtanggal ng item.
Error. Now, how to remove multiple items from a list is not the simple. We're going to index a program here. Just remove to meant that notification was just deleted. And then I'll add that string I just.
Ayun. Delete input. Oh, medyo harsh pa siya sa akin eh.
Sali na sa Royal Collect and Win. Collect 6 caps and redeem daily.
If hindi ko magamit.
Python tuples. Why are you even? So I create a list, and here's how you create a tuple. They're exactly the same. Come on. I mean, I know. To create them, I had to use a bracket to create a list, opening, closing. Beyond that, they're the same. They hold an ordered list of data, strings, integers. Why is Python doing this to us? Just to be confusing? To be difficult? Because I only ever use lists. I never use tuples. So, in this video, I want to go on a journey. I want to figure out, why is there a tuple? Why is it even a thing? Why does it exist? It's going to be a small journey, I think. Get your coffee ready. Let's do this. Type of these data types. Run that code, and bam, I told you. Class, list, class, tuple. So I googled it, asked ChatGPT, and asked my Discord. And there's one key difference between a list and a tuple. Immutable. You can't mute tuples, but you can mute lists. But now I'm talking about tuples, and you can hear me. Immutable, not mutable. All right, Nick, so what I want to do there is like do a mute thing. It's stupid, but we should play with it. So it turns out immutable is just a fancy word for you can't change it. Whereas mutable means you can change it. So a list you can change. So let's try it out. Let's change a value in our list.
Yung a list yung yung mutable, unmutable, mutable yung a tuple. So basically hindi mo siya pwede.
Change Bernard to Chuck. We'll say index 0 equals Chuck, and we'll print that list to see what it looks like. Nail it. It changed. Mutable. Let's try to change our tuple. Same process. Call the 0 index and have that equal Chuck, and we'll try to print it out. Can't do it. It's immutable. Can't touch this. Sorry. I had to. So we could stop there. Video over. Case closed. But if you're like me, you might be wondering, so what? So what if you can't change it? I still don't see the reason, the use case, because it still seems like we're trying to overcomplicate something that should be very simple. Just make it a list. The list does everything. So I dove deeper. But real quick, before we overcomplicate things with tuples and lists, let me tell you something that's not complicated. Sponsor won't start, but try this live chat. I did the live chat to work because they had to say, hey, tell me about tuples are own and free for up to 10. I'm just kidding, they're actually pretty cool. The fact that tuples are mutable means they're faster than lists. Like, let me show you. Demonstration time. Using a tool called Time It, we're gonna see how fast Python can create, how many did I say? How many zeros right here? 1 million lists and 1 million tuples. Ready, set, go. The results are in, and it's obvious. 1.43 seconds for a list and 0.13 seconds for a tuple. Dude, that made a list cry. But now I'm sure you're wondering, why is a tuple faster than a list? They're doing the same thing, right? No. And it's back to mutability, our favorite word. And it has to do with storage. Because a list is mutable, you can change it. It's stored in 2 blocks of memory to allow for new data, changed data. Whereas a tuple, it's stored in 1 block of memory. It's not gonna change. And now I know, in our example, this little millisecond difference in time doesn't seem like a big thing, but in large, bulky programs, that could be time saved, money saved. So okay, at this point, I'm kind of convinced. I get it. Tuples are pretty cool. They're fast, and I like fast. But now on to point 2 as to why we use tuples, and that's why do we use tuples? What's the use case? When am I going to need data that can be changed? And for that, I asked Google and my Discord, and I got fantastic answers. I found a really great answer on Stack Overflow, and it has to do with the types of data you might want to store in a list versus a tuple. In a list, you'll want to store what's called homogeneous data. It's just kind of fun to say. Go ahead and say it. Homogeneous. For example, a list of names. All strings, the same type of data. List of coffees, list of YouTubers. These are examples of data within a list that we might add to, change, remove. But in tuples, you might use heterogeneous data. I can't say that. So I might have one tuple called YouTuber, and it would contain data about a YouTuber. Name, subscriber count. How many does John Hammond have? Woo, 519,000. Way to go, John Hammond. And the types of videos he makes. Hacking. Heterogeneous data. Did I say it right the first time? Or second time? That felt really good. It's all different, but it's all data pertaining to a certain YouTube. Basically, it's how we're grouping our different types of data. And when you're working with SQL libraries in Python, you're actually kind of forced to use tuples. They often return tuples when you use things like fetch1, fetch all, and similar methods. And thank you, Lebret, in my Discord. And by the way, if you haven't joined my Discord, check it out. It's super helpful, amazing people in there. It'll help you on your Python learning journey. And Granudo also points out that you want to use a tuple for them. So for example, let's say we have this tuple here. Name, age, all of them.
Oh, I get it. I totally get it.
Say it right. Is it tuple or tuple? I don't know. They get a tuple. So you actually need parentheses. All you need is a comma. Like, hey, I've got multiple pieces of data. Psych. So, it's weird. Print all at once. Weird things you can do with it. Actually, this one's kind of cool. You can unpack a tuple. So, for example, let's say we have this tuple here. I'll call it network chuck. I'll have it equal my name, my age, and my favorite drink. Copy. I can unpack this and assign it to multiple variables all at once by doing this. I'll create 3 variables. Name, age, drink, and have that equal the tuple network chuck. And that legit made 3 separate variables that unpacked it, as long as you have them in the correct order. Let me print all of them real quick. Print name, print age, and print drink.
This is what I'm talking about right here.
It's pretty cool, right? Which, by the way, you can do the same thing with list. So just now you know, it's not unique to tuples. But I hadn't talked away. Age.
Kailangan kayo in order. So actually, I'm gonna try that. Madami ka ng tabs, madami na sila. That's fine. Like, I was just gonna try actually. Ginawa na kasi malaking tulong sa akin. Shock. Binaliktad ko to. Yeah.
And print drink.
So niya sinusunod.
It's pretty cool, right? Which, by the way, you can do the same thing with list. So just now you know, it's not unique to tuples. But I hadn't talked about it yet. I wanted to show it to you. Now also, tuples are kind of weird. You probably saw this coming because they have a weird name. It's a tuple. I don't even know how to say it right. Is it tuple or tuple? I don't know. Comment below. You probably don't know this. You don't actually need to use parentheses to make a tuple. Seriously, watch this. Totally a tuple, so I'm gonna name this thing, equals 1. And then to make it a tuple, I don't need parentheses, all I have to do is just add a comma. I don't even need more than one piece of data. And watch if I print the type of that data. It's a tuple, which is so weird. So you actually need parentheses, all you need is a comma. Like, hey, I've got multiple pieces of data, psych. So, it's weird. And there's more weird things. You can easily turn a tuple into a list into a tuple. You can put a list inside a tuple. You can put a tuple inside a list. You can put a list inside a tuple, inside a tuple, inside a list, inside a tuple, inside a list. And finally, let's make one more tuple. Stuff you have to do. Like, comment, subscribe, and look, that's a tuple.
Oh wow. Fucking fucking thing isn't even working. God damn it. Wow. I'm just gonna go
It's
get
immutable.
something.
You can't change it, so now you have to do it.
That's it. That's the whole fucking thing. I've done the whole thing. Okay, from here I'm on my own. Basically. I'm on my own. Actually, marami pa akong di na-tackle. Nakikita ko ginamit yung if. Yung mga booleans, true or false. Wala pa ako dun. To len. Wala pa ako dyan. Basically. Yep. Okay. Let's just make another one. I've learned Python. Ano ba una print if str integers pa ba? If ellipse example niya lists dot insert dot pop dot move python next yan na loops functions dictionaries sure let me see on my own right now literal wala akong pina-follow ng YouTube tutorial or anything literal on my own damn this is gonna be hard recording actually 1 hour pa lang so let me get a sneak peek on what can I do next time kasi may na on my own wala na akong sinusunod video library kailangan ko maaral to lalo yung loops tsaka functions okay yeah loops guys hindi ko sa randomizer niyan nagawang calculator ka so calculator ko bulok pa eh no actually pwede naman I'm kind of moving too fast actually kind of slow actually basics literal lang basics lang paano tayo medyo complicated can you recommend me some YouTube ano where can I learn these Web3 real Python okay, I want something kasi entertaining and hindi ako magpo-bore kasi temper check hindi ako mag-bore ayoko mga 1 hour actually,
This video was brought
If you were to start
okay, lead me kasi
What is up guys, add a plus and the
In this full course, you will learn the basics of Python programming. I'm Bo Carnes with FreeCodeCamp.org. I previously created one of the most
I will delve into these kasi matagal-tagal pa hindi ko naman makakaral to lahat ng like 1 week lang again actually last or ending na ng first week which is good pawasok na ako next week so to 1 week again and at least meron akong prior knowledge which is nice I would definitely commit to Python kasi mukhang enjoyable siyang language marami kang magagawa and mostly sa interested ako you can make games I actually didn't call it expected makakagawa pa ng games dito lalo na yung mga automations tsaka yung AI machine learning those are interesting ano ba yeah those kind of stuff I would definitely commit until this
Hey there.
It's insane I would most likely definitely commit to these gets me na kunyari mag Java or ano I would definitely still commit to Python it's fun kasi nung una hindi ko talaga ma-apply ng language naghihintay pa paano siya gamitin yung una akong try so it's really something I think before I definitely surpassed myself before yung time na pinaral ko siya which is around 2 weeks lang nakabot lang ako ng variables hindi na ako tumuloy I think I've kind of surpassed myself on that goal definitely surpassed myself diretso lang parang pipigit na sarili ko. Wala nang papasok at ako. Ako
I-
na lang ako titigoys ko. Ayoko nun. Mas prefer ko yung consulting time. Pasok ako ako. It's good. Good practice, diba?
How's it going, everyone? Today,
Dave Gray, Dave Gray is
8 hours, 1 hour. That's what we need to watch out. Yeah, like this, like this. Okay, that's good. Pie game, gusto kong gawin yung pie game.
Is that if you are interested in becoming a software engineer or learning more about Python,
I've read over 100 show you in order to demonstrate this, so I'm going to have to go and get one. I'm coming to that.
Ano yung Python books na available na mabibili? Like, they're great. I'm not trying to spend that much for that. Python for dummies. Yung may mga ano, yung mga libraries. Ewan ko meron sila, may hirap pa rin hiramin. That'd be nice. Mga ganito. Python for intermediate, nice. Hingi tayong tips sa mga marunong video.
Fall in love with the new richer taste of Cadbury.
If you were to start learning to code today, where would you begin? I
Hindi kami kasi solve learn eh. Mas madali na eh. Kasi everyday we susunod lang ako kay ano to gagawin ko ngayon. Like, pero
start learning to write code much faster than we can. Well, Python is still one of the most in-demand programming languages today. In addition, knowing how to program in Python empowers you to build applications on, but it still used a command to install a non-existent Python package. Without sufficient understanding, you might unknowingly allow AI-generated code to install malware in your environment. That's why you still need to know how to code, even if you use AI to write code. Being
I like use AI. They're great. They're gonna make shit easier, but just take time. You still need to learn the basics. Come on.
using that creatively to create a set of instructions, and it helps that I wish I wouldn't worry too much about choosing a development environment to use when I first started. But anyway, choosing the right one
Or
might
just use Atlas like Python.
make your life a little bit easier. Which development
This
is
code is kind of hard. It's great every day. Just learn it as a run thing. But I'm using it like a weird one. Parang ako sa akay na ganda siya. Minsan hindi ko alam paano yun eh. Papaturo nga ako.
environment to choose depends on your goal. Do you want to learn Python to become a developer, or do you want to learn it to do data analysis, machine learning, or AI? And you can also choose between a local code editor and a hosted service. At the very beginning,
VS Code, yeah. I'll just use VS Code.
you may not want to bother with installing Python and setting an environment yourself, so you can use an online code editor such
Huwag ka gamit ng PyCharm, man. Sobrang bigat ni PyCharm. Oh my god.
as Replit, where you can start writing code right away in an online environment. For data science and machine learning specifically, a common tool is Jupyter Notebook, which allows you to run blocks of code individually and inspect results. An online version of Jupyter Notebook is Google Colab, which is a hosted Jupyter Notebook service. It requires no setup to use and provides free access to some computing resources, which is pretty neat if you can run Python directly in your terminal. Try using it as a calculator or print some fun joke in your terminal. The next step is to install an integrated development environment like Visual Studio Code or PyCharm. These are software that help you develop general applications, and they make it easy to edit code and have all the functionalities built in that you might need for your project. hence the name Integrated Development Environment. I used to use Jupyter Notebook a lot for my data science project in Python, but nowadays I find it easier to use Jupyter Notebook inside Visual Studio Code, as I can easily use GitHub Copilot, which we'll talk about later in this video. Once you decide which tool to use, you can immediately start learning the basics, like variables, data types, and functions. You really want to know the basics of control flows like conditional statements and loops. Don't get carried away. A lot of times we get stuck in the details of some small topics and lose motivation, and we want to avoid that. To help you visualize what you may want to learn at each stage of learning Python, I decided to create this mind map for learning Python. If you laid out every single Python concept in a mind map, this is basically what it would look like. You can see on this mind map I divided the topics into basic, intermediate, and advanced. As you can imagine, the basic topics include the integrated development environment for Python, how to install and manage packages, working directory, and all things basic, just in any programming languages such as data types, variables, functions, operators, conditional statements, and loop statements. It's fine not to completely understand everything at this stage. You have the chance to practice and solidify your knowledge in the next levels. Moving on to the intermediate topics, where you can start doing really useful things. On this level, you should learn more advanced things like working with different types of files, version control with Git, Python for data science, aka doing data analysis and machine learning with Python, object-oriented programming, decorators, debugging, and error handling. At this stage, you also want to pay attention to good coding practices, meaning writing clean, readable, and efficient code. There's a distinction between writing code for a personal toy project and building something in the real world. Some of the most important good coding practices may include: follow the style guide for Python code and be consistent with it. Use meaningful variable names. Trust me, naming variables is one of the hardest things in programming. Avoid hard coding numbers in your code because no one would be able to understand what these numbers represent except yourself. Use list comprehensions and generators when necessary instead of using for loops. Also add error handling in your code. Provide commenting and documentation in your code. Use virtual environments to encapsulate packages for separate projects. If necessary, you also want to create unit tests for your functions. At this stage, there could be a lot of things to learn, so I'd recommend you start thinking about what you want to focus on. For example, if you are learning Python for data science, machine learning, and AI, you know that you need to master all the basics, plus some of the most basic Python packages you need to use for working with data, such as NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn, and Scikit-learn. While if you want to learn to become a data engineer or software engineer, then object-oriented programming, decorators, and learn to write efficient and clean code are even more important. Once you've moved on to the more advanced topics, you can start building more complex applications, and you can start learning how to use an API for your application, develop a web application with a user interface or a complex game, and so on. This is also where you start moving from building prototypes in Jupyter Notebooks to building an user-friendly application. In Python, there are a lot of
Medyo nagsisagot para si Motowag. Pero ganun talaga, ganun ako eh. Hindi, okay lang. Medyo kasi na-encapsulate na ako sa mismong project. Lagi mo ganun, pag start ko siya, obsessive na ako. Hindi na ako makaalis, pero starting is the hardest part. Ganun talaga.
the frameworks that make it easier for you to develop a web app, for example, Django and Flask. You'll also learn how to deploy your application on a cloud hosting platform. If you want to learn advanced programming and develop complex applications, I'd like to shout out to Codecrafters, who has kindly sponsored this video. Codecrafters is a learning platform to help engineers get really good at their craft. Build your own Redis, Git, Docker, SQLite from scratch just for fun. They also have a separate Python track where you can learn to use Python to create your own software. This platform targets senior programmers who want to build tools and master their skills. If this sounds interesting to you, check out Codecrafters in the description below. Alright, you can use this mind map as a useful reference for knowing what is what in Python and building your own learning curriculum based on your goals and your needs. needs. After that, you can start looking up some tutorials on YouTube or signing up for an online Python course and go through the concepts you want to learn. I've also linked this mind map in the video description below, so if you actually learn something though, is through doing. And the best way to actually own your knowledge is through teaching. Let me explain. Most of us learn like this. You learn something and then move on to the next thing and then move on to the next thing. By the time you move on to the fourth or the fifth thing, you already forget the previous things you learned. Sounds familiar? This is not because you're stupid. It is because if you learn something without immediately applying it, your brain would get a signal saying, oh, this thing is apparently not important because I never need to use it for anything. So a better way to learn Python or any foreign languages is to immediately put what you've learned into practice and start creating something useful with it. This something doesn't need to be too useful. For example, you just learn about Python functions. You can create a function to calculate your BMI. If you need some ideas, you can simply go to ChatGPT and ask it to create a quiz or a practice problem for you. At this point, you might think, okay, cool, I can move on to the next thing. Or you might decide to go to the next level, which is to teach others what you've learned. I love writing blog posts and tutorials or making videos to explain concepts I just learned. In fact, I believe you should always teach what you learn. By teaching, you learn it more deeply, and it helps reveal gaps in your knowledge that you would otherwise never know. It's said that no one learns as much about a subject as one who is forced to teach it. So for me, the best formula to learn coding is actually learn, do, teach, and so on. This is easier said than done. Almost all of us experience some sort of dip in confidence and motivation while picking up a new skill. And coding is no exception. You get started feeling very excited learning about how to print hello world and make the first for loop to count from 1 to 10. You feel like you are crushing it and becoming a guru very soon, but this is just an illusion. This is called the Dunning-Kruger effect in psychology, which basically means the incompetent people usually overestimate their own abilities.
God damn it, Angel, sabi ko, Dunning-Kruger effect.
After 1 or 2 weeks, you start feeling overwhelmed and
Andyan na ako.
realize how little you actually know about programming. You want to learn Python to do machine learning, but you just realize that you also need to learn math, statistics, and some computer sciencey stuff at the same time. And this is completely normal. Unfortunately, 99% of people give up at this stage. They cannot push themselves to step up and keep going even when they don't feel like doing it. If you can't go past this stage, then you'll forever be a beginner. And the problem is, in today's world, being a beginner, you're less competent than ChatGPT. So all you need to do is to trust the process. For me, the best way to get out of the valley of despair is to learn with a purpose. You want to find a problem that you want to solve and create a personal project that solves it. This will help shift your focus from I'm incompetent to I'm learning what it takes to solve a real life problem. You might
hanap tayo ng isang project na gusto kong gawin na pinaka-basic lang at ma-apply ko lahat yun. Siguro hanggang next week. Bigyan hanggang next week. Ano na lagi ko bibigyan ng deadline, but like something na gusto kong gawin. Let's go.
Might be asking, but I'm still just a beginner. I don't know where to start. A good thing to note is that your project doesn't need to be complicated at all. It doesn't need to change the world. It just needs to be a little bit useful. One of my projects is to take all the books from the Witcher book series to create a network of characters in the story. It is useful, but not too useful. It was fun and doable, and there were a lot of new ideas and concepts thrown at me, and that's the point. When you get absorbed in your project, you're just too excited to stop. There were quite a few weekends when I coded until wee hours just to see if something actually works and my project slowly coming to life. I think there's no better source of motivation than this. You'll also come across many similar projects from other people. You can then reverse engineer what they have done to tackle the same challenges in the project, and this will help you build your own problem-solving skills. In addition, in the age of AI tools today, you no longer have to do projects all by yourself. Nowadays, I often use GitHub Copilot to help me write code faster and less error-prone. In data science, this really helps you focus more on the idea and the creative process behind it rather than getting bogged down with fixing the data types or adjusting axes on a chart. Believe me, this can cost a lot of time. And by the way, I'm currently working on a course on Python for data science and AI project. If you're interested, check out the link below to be the first to hear about it when it's available. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.
You know these courses, they do a lot of them. Just like Michael Reeve, that dude, that is fucking awesome.
Pew.
How the fuck that dude, Michael Reeves, dude makes robotic stuff. He knows all of his stuff just on YouTube. I wonder actually what Mike Reeves learned.
Did you teach yourself to code? Harvard puts their computer science courses online. You don't need to go to Harvard. You can just like look at the Harvard class online. It's crazy. Yeah. I go to colleges and I break into their comp sci classes, just pretend to be a student, bring a backpack, just sit down and they just talk. They don't take.
Have you actually done that?
Yeah, it's bad.
What?
Yeah. You just get to watch a college class without paying tuition. It's awesome.
Did you teach yourself to?
Did he?
Schedule of many things to learn a lot more objects. So you don't have to remember to
Why
is it like
oh no.
out all of next we should look at something like this here.
no. Can I explain what I thought?
Sure.
This would be too.
What would this?
Need a whiteboard sometime. I'll be thinking of buying one actually.
Press enter and I don't input anything, I don't get any output.
Let's watch this shit. Let's do this.
Video sponsored.
I'll let you watch this.
Goodness sweat food.
I don't think I
Supports
did.
complete nutrition and vet formulated. Abot kaya.
I'll watch episode 1 of this world of this pyramidal code.
Yeah, you get the point. Programming can be very fun and useful if you do it the right way, but a lot of people end up quitting early because they start off like this.
Wait, watch this. I don't know.
Use and negative index.
So let me teach you the fun way to learn programming. I'd say that the best starting point for everybody would be Python, and then after that you can specialize on whatever you want. Just look a Python tutorial on YouTube or find a website and pick whichever one is least annoying to you, because they all pretty much teach you the same thing. For now you're gonna learn basic syntax and basic programming. If you want to do it properly, don't just blindly follow whatever they do in the tutorial. You need to do 3 very important things.
Oh yeah, I did watch this one.
10 to a variable called price, and then he's
Oh shit, that's this one. Oh. I updated it, okay. He's seen my fucking chat, that's awesome. It's updated the video. Okay, cool.
If you want to do it properly, don't just blindly follow whatever they do in the tutorial. You need to do 3 very important things. Experiment with the code and understand what you're actually writing. Make your own
Yes.
small projects that you actually enjoy working on, and make sure that the way you're doing it is the best way to do it before you move forward. First, you're going to need something to write your code in. I would recommend VS Code. I'm not going to show you how to set that up because you don't have the attention span, and it's easy anyway. And I will show you how to follow the first rule. During this video, don't focus on the code itself, just the general methods that I'm explaining. So let's say I'm watching a tutorial and the YouTuber tells me that the function input takes user input and then I can use it however I want. In the example, he takes age as an input and then prints out this is your age. Pretty simple, but then the YouTuber moves on. You might not really understand what the function does if you stop there, so you might want to experiment. Here's how you do it. First I take the function and then I try to print it out. I can see that if I press enter and I don't input anything, I don't get any output. But if I type something in, I get that exact same thing printed out. So basically whatever I type goes inside of input. Now this part is starting to make a bit more sense. Whatever I type into input gets put into age and then age gets printed. But then that also tells me that I don't need the age variable. I can just put the input straight inside of the print. Another interesting feature is that it stalls all of my code until I get rid of the input by pressing enter. So basically this code down here will only execute if I press enter. So then we have Larry. He was building his temple, but he couldn't really see very well, so he couldn't put the star on top of the temple. I need to find the exact coordinates to tell him where to put the star, or it's just gonna fall off and he's gonna be very sad. I'm
use WinTer32 API to get my cursor position, but
Like winter, I don't know any APIs and shit. I don't know that.
but if I run it normally, it's just gonna tell me where my cursor is when I'm on my VS Code. This doesn't help Larry in any way. But then I remembered I can just stall the code with input. I can move my mouse on top of where he needs to put the star, and then I can get him the coordinates by just pressing enter, because it makes my code run. Look at how happy Larry is.
Automation.
Obviously, that's not the best way to stall code, but I was just showing you how to explore something new.
You make auto clickers out of Python, right? That's one thing. Because he just made a fucking cursor thing, and then you could just make an input something, and it just keeps clicking. I'm pretty sure you could do that.
But now that I experimented with the function a bit, I understand it better. Now I want to personalize it and make a small project out of it. Because this one is very basic, I don't feel like making a whole project out of it, so I'm just gonna customize it for now. In my case, I'm just gonna use YouTubers instead of A. And now the last step is to make sure that I do it properly. Throughout this video, I've been printing out strings wrong, because this is usually how beginners learn them, by just adding strings together. The way you're actually supposed to do it is by using string formatting, and that would look something like this, which leads me to the next point. How do you know how to do it properly? Well, honestly, just use AI. AI is basically just a personal teacher for you that's there to
Yeah,
guide.
AI is your best friend. Use it. You shouldn't learn AI. AI is good. It's gonna be now. You should do it. You should do it.
You throughout everything. Anyone that tells you that AI is bad for learning in
Yeah.
this context
It's not.
is objectively wrong.
Teachers are wrong.
Yes, it is bad to heavily rely on AI and make it make
Yes.
entire projects for you and not learn anything, obviously. But if you're just giving it a few errors, if you're making it explain to you why your code doesn't work, or if there's a better way to do it, it's an incredibly valuable tool, and I think everyone should be using it. Now let me give you a bit of a better example for the second rule. Let's take an array. An array is just kind of a list of items that all have a certain
Ooh, I don't know.
slot. And then you can just find the item by the slot. Usually
Ooh. Do you want your own lists or tools?
tutorials they use fruit or names as examples. But let's make this more fun and personal. Let's say I want to play Valorant, and I want my
I think I watched this.
script to decide a random character for me to play. Well, I can just fill out an array with every character name, and instead of doing it manually, I can just save some time and tell ChatGPT to make me the array. So now if I ask for the agent at index 2, it's gonna look 0, 1, 2, and it should be on it. There it
Actually
is.
useful. I didn't know. Use.
Now how do I randomize it? Well, I need to find some sort of a random number generator, so I'm gonna look up how to generate a random number in Python. I found out that I can use the random module. Now I'm gonna make it generate a random number between 1 and 27, in this case between 0 and 26, because arrays start at 0, and then it's just gonna print out the character at that position in the array, pretty much picking me a random character. I think that's a pretty cool project. And also in the process, I learned how arrays work better, and I learned how to generate random numbers. And throughout time, you're gonna learn a lot of different stuff by doing these sorts of small projects. And the more complex the project, the more you're gonna learn. Learning the basics should only take you a few days to a week, so it shouldn't be that bad. And then after that, you get to start having fun, because you can do whatever project you want. I didn't
I'm still in there. I'm still in there.
only tell you to start with Python because it's the easiest to learn, but also it's extremely versatile, so you can do pretty much anything with it. It's also going to help you a lot in the future whenever you want to make a custom tool that doesn't exist, or you want to automate some tasks, because it's so easy to do with Python. When it comes to languages, people worry about this way too much in the beginning.
I did.
It really doesn't matter. The most important thing is that you learn to program properly, and then you can hop between languages very easily. Once you learn to program, it's easy to learn a new language, and it's a lot faster than learning your first language. In fact, developers pick up new languages all the time if it's the most suitable for the project that they're working on. Except me, I'm not touching Java. And now let's talk about cool projects. Until now, we pretty much just dealt with strings and static values in the code. We didn't really get external information. Like, we didn't interact with any apps or websites.
The cheat, fucking aimbot.
or anything interesting. Now it's time to spice it up and interact with external
Can
platforms.
you make an aimbot fight Omega Forms?
There's three main ways to do this.
Can you make a aimbot in Python? You can definitely. They're just giving me fucking APIs. They can. It's a 3D aim trainer. Oh wow. Yeah, you can definitely do it. Yeah.
What's up everybody, I am not a software engineer, but in my last video, we were able to successfully create an aim trainer using Python.
You made an aim trainer.
Actually use computer vision to cheat the aim trainer from scratch.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go ahead and use the aim trainer as a template, right?
Actually, you can make those Geometry Dash videos. You can make Geometry Dash do its thing. I don't know if that works, but like, I think you could do that too. Geometry Dash bot in Python. There you go, he made one. Is you guys think we'll just run? I would definitely want to make that, yes. Someone gets up already. Oh, someone speaker. The Windows 7. Holy. More match it again. Oh.
Then I can get him the coordinates by just pressing enter to pick a custom tool that doesn't exist. Interact with external platforms. There's three main ways to do this. Let's say you're playing an online multiplayer game and you have matches with other players. The game provider tracks those games and keeps them stored on a database. The company is not going to give you direct access to their database for obvious reasons, but they are going to provide an API that lets you interact with it. This means that you can pull and manipulate whatever relevant information you want in your program. This can be done with many services, not just games, but I'm going to use League as an example for now. In this case, I'm going to make an account and get an API key that allows me to interact with the API. First, I'm going to get the player identifier by giving it the in-game tag. Afterwards, I can look for the player's match history data with the PUI ID that I just got. Then I can get the match data by the match ID that I just pulled from the match history, and now I have all of the match data for that game. The API looks something like this, but then I can take specific values and modify it with some front end to make it look like this. And there's a lot of sites that do this for many different games.
Oh,
Like here we can see the level, the champion, the number of deaths, and a bunch of things that won't even show up, like how many times they pinged. You can do all of this in Python through request, by the way. Now let's do something a bit more entertaining. I'm going to take a live game and I'm going to use the game API to get me the in-game data. So this is what the API looks like, and it gets me stats like my character stats, for example, my attack damage, my HP, my attack speed, and other stuff. I can pull all of those stats through their API and manipulate it however I want in my script. In my case, I'm just going to print it out in the terminal. And now we can see that as my attack speed gets higher in game, it also updates in the terminal. This means that my script currently has active live game data. With this, I could do something like a Discord presence bot, which shows my KDA and my farm in real time as I'm playing the game so that people on Discord can see that. Or I could go the evil route and just make a kiting script out of it, although I can't really show you that on YouTube. There's APIs for all sorts of platforms. It doesn't have to be League or any game for that matter. So if you don't really care
Who
about
makes
games, you can do
APIs?
it for
Who
whatever
makes
your interests
APIs?
are. Let's say that you like football. You can just find an API that gets you player data or match data and then make an app that displays it or indexes it. You can also do it externally by scanning the screen or having preset positions and then simulating user input, like your mouse and keyboard actions. This is harder to detect by
Si
anti-cheats
ano,
and it's
turtle import na ito sa TikTok.
also useful for quick automation. Here you have to wait for it to turn green and then click it and check your reaction time. First I'm going to make it check a pixel from somewhere around here. If it turns green, it's going to have this RGB value, so I can just put it in a loop and constantly scan that pixel to see if it reaches that value. If it
This is where you close. Di ba ang Raspberry, di Raspberry pa, Arduino, Python na ginagamit doon, di ba? As Arduino use Python. I have to do, but it's a different one. What does it does?
It does, I just make it click by simulating my mouse input. This way I only use screen detection and keyboard and mouse manipulation, so I don't actually inject into the browser or do any sorts of site requests. It's called a pixel scanner and I do it externally. This was a simple example, but there's much more interesting examples like this one where I just automate an entire game. by
Boy,
using
mas mahirap nga yung Jump Dash kasi wala pixel scanner rin.
the
Timing
same
talaga.
technique. Pretty much everything that's actively running in a program is stored in memory. This means that if I were to find the memory address for my HP, I could change that however I want. This has limitations because of anti-cheats and other stuff,
Yeah.
but that's the general concept of internals. Basically, if you're injecting into a process and you're editing or reading its memory directly, you're doing internals. These are generally used for game cheats. If you're interested in that, I'm gonna have a kernel level anti-cheat documentary coming up next month. I also documented some of my Python projects. Earlier I told you to use ChatGPT for help, but now the projects are getting far too advanced for it to be able to properly help you. Trying to do this through an LLM chat just simply doesn't work at this scale. It wasn't built for that. Luckily today's sponsor came in clutch. Meet Warp 2.0, an agentic development environment where agents actually do the heavy lifting across the entire development lifecycle. It's a top performer on Terminal Bench above Cloud Code and Gemini CLI and scored 71% on SWE Bench Verify, making it one of the highest performing coding agents out there. Warp isn't just another chat window or autocomplete toy. It's built at the right level in the stack. It picks the best model for the job or lets you choose the best model, gathers context across repos, plans, summarizes, and then applies fixes directly to files. You can run multiple agents in parallel, manage their autonomy from a clear UI, edit the diffs in-app, and then commit and push without using 20 different tabs and LLM chat interfaces. The whole workflow is literally what Warp 2.0 is made for. There's a reason why over 600,000 engineers use Warp. The best part is that they have a free plan and you can easily try it yourself without having to buy anything. If you enjoy it, you can go pro for $15 a month and you can use the code CRIN to get your first month of pro for only $3. If this sounds good, head over to Go in the comment. That's me. Here's what you need to do. First of all, getting into programming, but don't really care about jobs. Now, when it comes to getting a job in programming, here's what you need to do. First of all, get a university degree because it's very useful and the competition will only get higher over time and you're gonna need it. On top of everything that I'm about to say, obviously. If you want more info on that, I also made a whole video on it. Okay, so now that you finished the basics, it's time to pick a field to specialize in and start working on more advanced projects. The reason why you want to specialize on a specific field is because they vary quite a lot in the technologies that they use and the skills that you need. So low-level engineering is probably going to need to know C, memory management, work closely with hardware, understand low-level performance, optimization, concurrency, be really good at operating systems, and many other things of that sort. Meanwhile, a web developer does the exact opposite.
I'm not good at software ever since. Magaling talaga ako marunong sa hardware. Sa hardware talaga ng computer, but use very new dun. Kasi hindi talaga ako puro software, more hardware talaga ako maputing.
It's going to work with a high-level language, probably using Python and JavaScript, and they don't really care about hardware or memory, and they don't have to optimize it in that way. Instead, they're going to care more about APIs, web protocols, data modeling, optimizations for servers and scaling, networking, device compatibility, and those sorts of things. That's pretty much it for the generic guide, and you're not supposed to get too much guidance because you're supposed to find your own path and think for yourself rather than find a roadmap that's going to work for everybody, because it's probably not going to work for everybody. One more tip though is that if you want to start with low level, you need to understand data structures and CS and low level concepts very well before you start working with the language, because otherwise there's no reason to use it. And in general, a developer needs to be very good at CS principles and making stuff properly and well optimized. Other than that, you just continue with the project learning method and you find something that you find interesting and you want to work on, and then you learn along the way, even if it's very complicated and you don't know where to start. For things that are kind of subfields on their own, like AI for example, you can just take courses on it and then continue rather than just starting from scratch. Now let's go for some guidelines that you need to follow as a programmer. Regardless of how complex the project is, you should still attempt it if it's a project that you want to do, and you'll just learn along the way. You shouldn't be scared by the complexity. Don't just use the technology because you're comfortable with it when there's much better alternatives. Like, it's a very bad idea to parse a JSON by using strings and then splitting the string instead of just using JSON parsing. And when it comes to AI, once you already learned basic syntax, don't overuse it too much for problem solving or you're going to become a useless programmer. Also, tutorial help isn't a real thing. You can just alternate between projects and tutorials and find whichever balance you like. I personally watched about half an hour of tutorials when I got started, and then I got bored and I started doing projects. When it comes to projects, get creative and do stuff for the things that you actually use or enjoy. Yeah, you could make macros, automation, cheats, or plugins, or mods for the games or apps that you enjoy. Or you can even do something a lot more abstract, like an encryption app for Discord. You would have a password that would generate an encryption key. You would share the password with your friend, and then you would both have the same encryption and decryption key. And from that, you can just type in an encrypted way through any communication app. All you really have to do is just get creative and do stuff for the things you like. What I'm trying to tell you is you have so many options when you're looking at projects that you can make, and all you have to do is get creative and not be scared. Just hop in and try to do it. From now on, it just comes down to you putting in the work and try to have fun. In the beginning, it's quite important that you have fun, or you're going to get bored and you're going to drop it very early. And there's just no reason to make a fun experience miserable. And other than that, see you in the next one.
Want to get into software?
Trying to make find actually something to work on. Can you suggest me a good beginner Python project after learning these? Yeah, these are great. I'm figuring gonna run down on these. I'm definitely gonna do them. these makes my things that I made nothing. But like, there's something, I guess. They're great. When I forward these, we're gonna move on. This one tomorrow.
This video was brought.
Yeah. I'm trying to find number. So we're out of nowhere again. No guides, no nada. Quickly to continue. That's it for now. That's day 6. We're approaching day 7. We're going good so far. Spit stop, but yeah, we're good. That's it.